Welcome to the Running with James podcast. We are committed to helping runners, OCR athletes, and the everyday person get involved, get connected, and get committed to becoming the best versions of themselves. Remember, when you change your mind, you change your life. Now here's your host, James Wyatt.
And welcome back to another edition of Running with James. We're excited to be here with you, joined as usual with...
Hey, everybody. It's your girl, Lauren. Mixing it up on the ones and twosies.
Really, dude?
Is that how you say it? Onesies, twosies?
Well, my name is James, Coach James, your host with the most.
Really getting fancy with the word over there.
I am. And when you listen to this, it's going to make more sense.
James figured out like what all the buttons do on the colorful board, and now
I did. Yeah,
he's
I'm a dangerous man now.
Yeah.
I am. When I tell a joke, I'm going to say something like, what did the three-legged dog say to the man when he walked into the saloon? I'm looking for the guy who shot my paw. You like that?
Is there a sound effect for an eye roll?
No. There's a crickets, which I'm going to be using a lot for when you say things.
Oh.
You're going to say something, and you're going to be like,
everything will follow up with a cricket.
You're going to give me that look of like, I just crushed that. That was really good. And it's just going to be crickets. It's going to be awesome. I have so much power at this moment.
You really do.
So it's good times.
And I don't know what they all say. I mean, I thought one of the buttons was for sexy, and I didn't know what that meant.
No, the words scary and sexy are similar. They both have S's and Y's. Yeah, they both have S and Y's. They have 4 letters, so it's good. It's good. So the one I'm really excited about is when you say something that's kind of like, I don't want to say not dumb because that's not true. That would be mean. But like when you say something that's a little like, I'm just looking at you like, really, dude?
Like dumb?
Well, I don't want to say that because that's a little more derogatory than I would say because I would not go that far. But when you say something and I'm just like, we've talked about this or this is something, whatever, you know what I mean? I'm going to just have to give you one of these right here.
I don't know what button you push, but I have a feeling you'll be using that way more than the crickets.
We'll see.
So
we'll see. All right, guys. Well, welcome back to the Run with James podcast. So today is the next day of the rest of our lives.
It is the next day.
It's the next day.
And tomorrow's another day.
And tomorrow will be another day, God willing, sun shines, and it's still freaking cold.
Yeah, but warm weather is supposed to be coming, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm already over it.
So I woke up this morning at like 4 when my wife got up, and, well, she went to class. She went to HYROX class this morning.
Okay.
And and I don't mean to be derogatory to my wife either, but like, I don't know, men, if you can relate to this, but like when I get up in the morning, when I get up at 4 o'clock on Tuesday to go teach the whatever, or when I get up early pretty much every day except for Thursday, I am like a ninja. You know what I'm saying?
Quiet.
Like I make no sound and I do it in complete darkness. You know what I mean? Like she didn't even know I left. It's just like ninja style, right? She's not so much. I know she's trying to be a ninja, but she's not. She's slamming stuff. All the lights are on. She's freaking like the dog and her playing and barking. Olivia's like jumping in the bed with me. It's like everybody, and they're up, so I might as well be up too.
Yeah, it's funny. My dad was the same way. When growing up, my dad always had to be up really early in the morning, and my dad you would almost never know he was there. Like you would maybe hear like the softest sound of running water because he would try very hard to keep it quiet, and you would like maybe you would see like a door shut and like the light underneath
the
something.
door.
Yeah. But my mother, if she were to ever get up early for anything, I don't even think she tries.
No, I don't think so. Sometimes I wonder.
I don't think my mom tries ever. I think she just is a hurricane coming through, and she doesn't think. I know this sounds like I'm saying my mom doesn't think about other people, but I think she's just in her own world. I think I operate pretty quietly in the morning because I had to for a while because my ex was super like did not like being disturbed in the morning. So whenever I had to get up and go to work or anything early, I had to be dead silent.
Gotcha. Well, my wife likes to slam things, so she's slamming counters, microwaves, babies, whatever. She don't care. She's slamming everything. But all that aside, that's a side note. When I woke up this morning, I was like, dude, it is freaking cold in here. And like our our closets, if we leave the closet doors open, the closets aren't as insulated as the rest of the house.
Yeah, closets get really cold.
And so the door was open. I was like, okay, we left the closet door open. That's why. So I went and closed it and went to the bathroom and got back in the bed, and I never got any warmer. I just was freezing. And I mean, I was under the cover, so I was fine. But like, if I poked my head out of it, I was like, my nose froze off, right? And so after everybody had gone and I did get up, the first thing I was like, you know what, let me go check this thermostat. Maybe somebody turned it down, and the thermostat was completely blank.
Oh, was it not on?
Like, as in, like, there was no signal, nothing. And so I was like, oh my God, did we lose power or something? And so there was no heater all night long at all. Or I don't even know what time there was no heater, but it was freaking cold. And so, you know, we called a dude to come out, and there was a flip breaker somewhere. And I went and looked, and I didn't see any flip breakers, so I don't know what breaker was flipped, but I was sweating it because I was like, holy crap, did our heater go out? Did our AC go out? Yeah. Oh my God, we're going to have to buy a new AC unit because we got this fixed before it gets hot.
Time for y'all to just buy a new house.
I was freaking out, man. So, but it was just a breaker, I guess it flipped at some point during the evening. But I was cold. I was like a little ice cube, but I slept really good.
Did you?
Because, I mean, colder weather, colder temperatures
does help you sleep
cold
better.
temperatures help you go into that hibernation like a bear. And I was probably growling like a bear too. I was like,
do you snore?
I think so. When I'm really tired, my wife says she'll every now and again, if she like elbows me, I'm assuming that means I was snoring.
Okay.
But I sleep pretty light, so if I start to snore, I wake myself up.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, if I'm exhausted and I get into it deep, I have been known to snore, but I'm not like. That
was my dad growing up.
Yeah, no.
You hear him upstairs.
There was this dude. So we used to go on these youth trips every year when we were the youth pastors at our church. And we used to go on this trip every year. We'd take our kids on a trip. And so we'd have, you know, counselors and everything else to go with us, like to help us. And there was this one guy, and we would have to put him on the other side of the room because he snored so loud. I mean, it was aggressive snoring.
Yeah.
Like it was angry.
You didn't tell him he had to sleep in the bathroom or something?
No, but I mean, the kids would wake up in the middle of the night. We'd all be looking at each other like, dang. I mean, it was loud. And here's the best part. His wife was exactly the same way.
Oh, so that canceled each other out.
So like so in the next morning, everybody would look all tired and like, did you not get any sleep? And like, no, so-and-so wouldn't stop snoring. It was like, oh my gosh, neither would homeboy. It was hilarious. So it was hilarious and sad all at the same time.
Perfect couple.
Yeah. So they just like competitions at night. So let us know, guys, if you're out there. Do you snore? I know you snore. I bet you snore.
I don't snore.
Oh yeah, because you snort when you laugh.
That doesn't mean I snore.
It's a high probability.
No.
It's a high probability.
I've never been told I snore.
I
have been told I can. What have I? Someone told me that I will sometimes mumble in my sleep.
I could definitely see you mumbling.
Yeah, like if I have a really bad dream or something, it's very like in my head. Like when I have dreams, when I do have dreams, they're very real feeling, and I will have like conversations. But I've never been told I snore ever. I will say this. Growing up, I think I've finally gotten better at it. I was a teeth grinder, which I think is way worse.
I mean, you don't really hear that though.
No, for other people.
Why is it worse for other people?
Because it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Do you really hear teeth grinding?
I think apparently
when you're sleeping too.
Apparently you can, because it used to wake my ex up.
Yeah,
he'd wake me up and he was like, "Dude, stop it."
I think that's like not a good test subject. So everything probably bothered him. I bet.
Everything did bother him. There's a reason he was the ex.
There you go.
But,
so
he also spoke he didn't snore very much, but he talked in his sleep. But his sleep talk was terrifying.
He probably had demons he was dealing with.
He was a vet.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying.
Real scary.
Yeah. No, I have it was a funny story. I remember where we were. I think we were at a race or something. We were all sharing, like, there was a group of us sharing a house or something, and we were playing a game or something like that. And while we're sitting down, I don't even remember exactly what happened, but like somebody just randomly somebody just randomly like farted. Like one of the girls just randomly just tooted or whatever. And it like surprised everybody. And when she did that, we all like stopped for a second and we started laughing like just uncontrollably. And then she started laughing and then she snorted. And like it was like like a little piggy. And then she couldn't stop. It was probably one of the top 10 moments of my life.
I'm sure she loved that.
I'm not going to mention her name, okay? But this chick, you know who you are. If you're listening right now, if you listen to the podcast, thank you. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you. Oh, actually, hold on. That's for you. That's for you. And I love you. So what are we talking about today, Lauren?
Well, we got HYROX coming up real fast.
We do.
And we got a lot of doubles teams representing BC.
Doubles.
We got a lot of doubles. We have a lot of athletes in general who are going to be doing Houston. I think we have a count of almost 50 people.
So far, yeah.
So far, nearly 50 representing BC. I'm sure a few more are going to come in somewhere.
Yeah, we'll probably claim a few people that have been coming to the Sunday Fun Day, right? Or I'm sorry, HYROX Run Club.
The HYROX Run Club, they will probably want to represent because of all the knowledge you've been dropping on them. But we have a lot of doubles. And I know when I go around to do gym initiations, or I talk with other people who are doing HYROX for the first time and they're doing doubles, I get a lot of people who ask me questions about, because I love doubles. I've run pretty much every division: open, pro, relay, mixed, women's doubles. I love them all. But doubles is one of my favorites because you get to split all that hard work with somebody. It's great.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people, especially if they're getting into it for the first time, they don't really know how the best way to handle the races with a partner.
Okay.
Or maybe if they've done it before, they don't know how they can improve with their partner.
Okay.
So I think that would be a great discussion topic, is you and I have raced together.
We have.
We've raced with multiple other partners.
Yep.
So I think what's been some stuff
that just sounds like we're just really unfaithful.
Well, I have my partner that I am true to, but she will not be able to race with me in Houston, unfortunately. But
sounds like y'all are broken up though.
We're not broken up.
Sounds like she dumped you.
She didn't dump me. It's
like the Friends episode where they were we're on a break, right? But they were on a break for a long time, So as in divorced.
They weren't on a break.
No. Yeah, they were. Okay. Anyway.
So I think being able to kind of share what's worked for us. We also had the doubles clinic. Drop some knowledge.
So the doubles clinic is this weekend, right? So it's tomorrow. So so that'll be a great opportunity for you to kind of learn some stuff. And this will be some of the stuff we'll probably cover, but it'll be more hands-on. Right? You'll actually see
get to,
some of that transitioning.
With us.
Right.
So yeah, I think kind of giving people that insight, how can you make the most out of your race when you are now having to rely on another person to be there with you?
Yeah. Do you think of it that way? You're relying on that person?
No.
Or how do you think about it?
I think the way I tell people is doubles is a great event to do because you do get to split the efforts, and that's nice. You have someone to hopefully push you.
Yeah.
But to me, what I tell people, if you really have a great partner, and for me, Laura was a really awesome. I loved racing with Laura.
Why?
I thought, one, she held me accountable all the time. In race day, she held me accountable to what she knew my strengths were. She knew when I was suffering. She knew when I had more in me. She read me very well, and I think we both kind of knew how to communicate without having to verbally communicate.
Okay.
And I think we just got to where we worked really well together. She was also very patient with me.
Oh, she's Minnesota nice.
She's very Minnesota nice.
Yeah. I mean, we've raced together, so.
An ufta and an oi.
Yeah, that's about all you're getting from her.
Yeah. You and I have raced together, so you've known me for a very long time, so you definitely know.
Yeah.
I'm
very gentle with you when we race.
You were great. You
very gentle.
Literally took on most of the efforts. And
I
just had to try to keep up.
Yep. I think there was one time we raced together where I was like, okay, what I'm doing isn't getting her motivated, so let me try this. And so I turned around, I was like, let's go.
You were gentle yelling at me.
I was like, let's go. But it was supposed to be more motivational.
You just came out aggressive.
But then when I watched the video of it, I was like, that looks like I'm mad. I look angry. I was like, that didn't help.
When you turned around and looked at me, I could tell what you were trying to do, but I'm also it looks like he's so frustrated with me right now.
And I wasn't.
You weren't. It was just in the moment.
Yeah, I was just trying to help you.
We also ran a few extra laps, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I did. We did. I did.
I was following you blindly.
Yep. So, but I agree. I think the doubles is probably my favorite version of HYROX. And I think a lot of it is because you can go so much faster, right? And because we're such a big proponent of teamwork, right, really, and community and stuff. So I feel like you can really push each other when you're working together. And in the training, I feel like you help each other get better if you're able to train together. because you're working in tandem so very much, right? So, whether it's getting in, stride together, right, on your paces when you're running your laps or whatever, or when you're running your track workouts, your speed efforts, right? Breaking up, how are you going to break the workouts up, right? So it's almost like I like to think of it almost like a dance number.
Oh.
Right? It's like a partner dance number where maybe one partner takes the lead and the other person kind of follows along.
Okay.
Right. But, they still got to nail their spins. They got to nail their jumps. Right. They have to be able to give that extra flair when it's necessary.
They still have to have the skill.
They got to have the skill sets. Right. So, so you work together in tandem to make this beautiful display of fitness.
Oh, that's such a nice way to put it.
Yes.
So I guess like a good way we could kind of tackle this, because a lot of questions, I think I get a lot of questions about tackling like certain concerns. What would you say? I don't know if you can come up with 5 or like maybe 5 of the top concerns or like issues that you see people running into when it comes to doubles.
I would say number 1, without a doubt, is pace.
Pacing.
Like, what are we going to run?
Okay.
Right. I think probably most people don't actually come up with a plan on what to run. And that's singles or doubles, right?
Yeah.
They have no like concept of like what pace should we be running, right? I mean, I think honestly, and the part of, obviously I coach a lot of people, but like when we do like say the HYROX Run Club, and I break down and I say, okay guys, so we're going to run this workout. Here's the pace we want to run. I want you to run your race pace. If you don't know what your race pace is, I want you to run your 5K pace. And like, not amazes me because I've done this for so long. I know that, right? But like a lot of people, they got that deer in the headlight look, and they're like, I don't know what that means.
I have no idea what that pace is.
I don't know what my race pace is. I don't know what my 5K pace is. And so then you're like, okay, well, I want you to go out and try to run a pace that you feel is challenging, but that you can sustain the whole time. And the first time you go out, you're not going to know what that is, right? So you're going to have to practice it a few times. And so I'm like, if you can start it and finish a little bit faster, then you're doing good. If you're starting it and you progressively get slower, it's too fast, right? So, so running together will kind of help. And it's very possible that one person's a better runner than the other.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely been the case. I mean, honestly, for me and most of my partners, you are definitely faster than me. Laura is definitely faster than me.
How do you say it like that? That doesn't even make it. You're like, you're faster than me.
Well, you are
Laura's
faster than me.
definitely faster than me. So that makes it sound like Laura is faster than me. What are you insinuating here?
She's not faster than you.
Oh, no. I don't know who you think you're talking to.
Now, if Jess was my partner, I could say Jess is definitely faster
Hey, let's
than
calm
you.
down. All right.
Your partner is.
Maybe.
Laura's faster than me and you're faster than me. And so I am, and you say this all the time, actually, we had just discussed this in our meeting together, is when it comes to doubles, you're only as fast as the slowest member on the team.
Correct.
So unfortunately, and I've seen the struggle bus in races, I've seen other doubles go out, and you have one person who is like an ultra runner, and they can handle like a 7-minute pace, and maybe the other person is really struggling to maintain that, and there's this massive gap that just keeps getting bigger.
Correct. Right.
And by like station 4, the slower individual is dying.
Right.
And then their partner's just, let's go, leaving them in the dust. And
people don't realize, a lot of people don't realize the first time you do it, you have to stay together.
You do have to stay within like 30 seconds of each other or something?
No, it's less than that.
Less than that now?
Yeah. You have to basically, you're not allowed to start any workout unless your partner is there.
Yeah. So make sure that if you do and it's even like getting into the rock zone now, like there has to be, I think it's like a very small second gap that you cross in, your partner has to be like right behind you.
Right. So you have to stay together. And if you don't, you get a penalty. Time
They will
penalty.
penalize you.
So, and these penalties are getting crazy, out of control, like 5 minutes, right? Nuts.
They're really like chunking them on. I don't know, like they're really trying to thin people out.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I was talking to someone today during a workout, and they were saying that someone had gotten upset about, I guess, the sled push. Like one of the judges said something, and they got into an argument, and I guess they kind of used some expletive deleteds with the judge, and they got like an 8-minute penalty.
Yeah, don't argue with
I don't know why you would argue with the judge.
Don't argue with the judge.
Right?
They have control.
Plus, you have race brain.
Yeah.
And when you have race brain, you're not thinking properly.
No.
And you're probably not counting properly either.
Yeah. Oh, no, definitely
Right?
not.
So, but I think that pacing would probably be number one, is learning, okay, what is the pace? What is the fastest pace we can run as a team? Not what's the fastest pace the fastest person can run.
Yes.
And hope that the other person can keep up.
Yes.
Right? So part of that is the sooner you develop whoever your partner is going to be, you start kind of running together. Maybe not all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Definitely you want to keep your fitness up. You want to keep improving. So you don't want to do all your efforts with them, but you definitely need to do 1 or 2 with them a week.
Yes.
So that you can help bring them up.
Yeah.
Because if you'll help train with them and run them, you can bring them up and help them get faster.
You actually used, I mean, I don't think he'll mind if we use him as an example. Your original, like your partner, Tommy, your men's partner, Tommy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when y'all first started training together, Tommy was not as fast as you.
Correct.
And Tommy's gotten really fast. Like you told me you had to slow down for Tommy.
You mean Tommy had to slow down for me?
No, I thought you had to slow down.
Oh, you mean in the beginning?
Yes, at the beginning. Yes,
correct.
Yes, at the beginning, you had to slow down for Tommy.
On our speed efforts.
On the speed efforts,
Mm-hmm.
so that he could get used to running a higher pace, maybe, but also it allowed you to be a little more, like, your heart rate not to be so elevated.
Right.
Going into stations.
Right.
And it also helps build his confidence if you're not, like, 50 yards away from him.
Sure.
And he's, like, trying to catch you.
Right.
You're, communicating better. So, but now it's been like 2-3 years. Y'all been racing together?
2 years, I guess. Yeah. 2.5 years.
He's gotten so fast.
Yeah, he's gotten much faster. So, I mean, actually, I would say, last year, maybe, I would say there were moments he was faster than me. In fact, we did a singles race, and we raced in the same heat, and he beat me. He beat me by like 2 seconds or something like that, right? He passed me at the freaking lunges. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that means he's faster than me, right? Or he was faster than me at that time. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's how it works is that, like, so usually you want to train with people who are better than you.
Yes.
Right. And so, because if you do, then they bring you up to their level. So, I think it was helpful for me too, because even though I may have slowed down to what the pace I would have maybe could have ran, it helped me because I was able to do more volume of that. Mm-hmm. It meant that I could do that workout and it not crush my soul. Like if I had to run the pace that maybe I should have been working at, it would have changed the workout for me, which would have changed my volume throughout the week. Yeah. So it was still very beneficial for me. Yeah. And him being faster made us a better team.
Yeah.
Right. Made us a better duo. And so, whereas there might have been a small gap in the beginning, like as we've raced, that gap is definitely, and we basically work on each other. So, when we go into the, zones and stuff, sometimes he goes first because I'm tired. Sometimes I go first because he's tired. Right. And so, it's made both of us, I feel like, much better working on those paces together.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So pacing is one big issue that people run into when they go into doubles. What's another one?
Probably number 2 is like transitions.
Yeah.
Right. So I think people don't really think about the transitions very much, right? They're just thinking, okay, we're going to race, we're going to run together,
figure it out.
and we'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
And that can work for sure. You can just go off of feel. But if you don't kind of have a plan going into it, then what you do is you kind of set yourself up for not being consistent, right? So it's like we talk about with running. If you go out too hot or if you go out too fast, you're probably going to slow down significantly toward the end.
Okay.
Whereas if you can kind of be more disciplined or if you pace yourself, right? So if you pace yourself, so it's just like if I go out and say, okay, I'm going to run a 7-minute pace, and then when I get tired, I'm going to run a 7-minute pace for half a mile, and then I'm going to get tired, and then I'm going to run a 9-minute pace for half a mile, and then a 7-minute pace, then a 9-minute pace, and a 7-minute pace.
Yeah. Well,
that's an average of an 8-minute pace.
Yeah.
So you probably would have been better off just running
an 8-minute pace.
You would have felt better. You would have been more consistent, and probably at the end you could have gone a little bit faster.
You could have pushed a little more.
Right. So in the same aspect on the workouts, instead of saying, okay, you go until you're gassed, right, and then I'll pick it up and I'll go until I'm gassed. Well, by the time I'm done and I'm gassed, you're probably still gassed.
Yeah.
Right. So by having like this rhythm of having whatever transition in between, like you're going to do, 30 seconds on the skier each, or you're going to do, half a sled length or full sled length before you switch. Right. You have some sort of plan so that you can manage and monitor the efforts. So you're not going max effort every single workout.
Yeah.
So that way you can go max effort toward the end of the race.
Yeah. And I think it also does play into like the communication aspect going in. If you already have an idea of like what the plan is for transitions, there's no just kind of like waiting for your partner to like say they're tired. Like, exactly when they're going to get a break. You know exactly when you're going to have to step up to the rower or the skier or the sled. Everything's more predictable, which can shave time,
seconds.
Time and seconds off your race. How soon in advance would you recommend that people start figuring out those transitions so they can practice them?
I would say the sooner the better, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the more you train with your partner, the better you're both going to be together, right? Because you're basically trying to get the most bang for your buck out of your partnership. So, you need to definitely be training at least once a week together in some capacity, whether it's like a compromise workout or something where you're doing HYROX movements. But, you know, if that's the case, think about it. If you train for 8 weeks together and you do one workout, that's 8 workouts.
Yep.
Okay. So that's not really that many workouts to be doing together.
Yeah.
Whereas if, let's say, somebody works out twice a week together, that's double the workouts.
Yeah.
So if you and I train together twice a week versus, you know, 2 other people training once a week, we're probably going to be more in sync than they are.
Yes.
Just because of our experience together, right? So, you know, and obviously schedules don't always match up, and obviously, you know,
sometimes your partner doesn't live in the same spot.
Exactly. So things happen, right? So I think the more you can do it, the better. But, you know, when it comes to those transitions, what I always say is equal effort, not equal load.
Okay.
Okay. And so most of the time when I'm talking to people, they're like, yeah, we're just going to split everything down the middle.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to do, you know, 500 meters. You're going to do 500 meters. I'm going to do half the sleds. You're going to do half the sleds. Right. Everything they always talk about doing it half right down the middle.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't think that's the wisest thing to do. And a big part of that is because we're not all equally strong at everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So like sometimes, you know, one person may be better on the sled push and one may be better on the sled pull.
Yeah.
Somebody may be better on the skier, somebody may be better on the rower,
Yes.
somebody may be better at burpees, somebody may be better at lunges.
Yeah.
And so if you're doing equal load, so just splitting it down the middle, you may not go as fast. And one person may be more gassed than the other. Whereas if you do equal load, well, then that means, equal effort, then that means we're going to put forth the same effort at each thing. So that means I may have to do a little bit more on one thing and you get a little bit of a break because you're not as good at it.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense. I mean, I think I've had to definitely do that with Laura a couple times, where especially like on the burpees. She's so much better at the burpees than me. She can go for a long time. I gas out at like 8. I'm starting to get real tired. My pace slows down.
Yeah.
But then on the rower is more my jam, and I can keep a better split than she can.
Yep.
So we've done it before where she starts us and only does a short amount of time, and then I take a big chunk in the center.
Yeah.
I can maintain it.
Sure.
And then just to give me a little break for the run, she'll finish it off. So
And that makes sense.
Bookends us, and because that's my strongest part.
Right. Plus, it gives you a little bit of a break because she's a stronger runner. So you can kind of recover before y'all go take off and try to run the pace again.
But it also took a lot of trial and error for us to figure that out. We had to like really communicate, practice, see what worked, because we tried a couple things and we're like, that's not working. I'm still tired. Well, okay, let's try something different.
Right. So, and that's what training's for,
Yeah.
right? If you're able to practice that in training, then you can kind of really nail that down so that you have a good plan for race day, right? So I think the transitions is definitely going to be big. And what I mean by that is, now there's a difference between running with a partner and you're doing it for fun and running with a partner and you're trying to do it for like competitive, like trying to get the fastest time you can. And so I'm always going to look at it from a competitive standpoint, because even if you're running it for fun, I feel like you'll have more fun if you're out there not suffering.
Yes,
right?
I
If you're
agree.
more efficient and you're able to get through it cleaner. And so you'll actually enjoy the experience so much more than if you're just out there just grinding away.
Well, I mean, even if you're just doing it for more fun, the less time you technically want to have to be out there, the better for your body and your mind.
No, for sure. For sure. And you're more likely to go back and try to do it again.
Exactly.
Right? So, so I think definitely the transitions are important, and then figuring out how that's going to work.
All right. So pacing transitions. A third one. Got one?
Maybe number 3, I would say, at least the thing I hear, quite a bit about, is like the rules.
Yeah.
Like understanding what the rules are.
Yes.
And they've changed, over the last year or so, or actually over the last few years. They, every year they have some kind of adaptations. But just knowing what the rules are, like knowing you need to stay with your partner.
Knowing you need to stay with your partner. Knowing, I'd say another big one I see that people don't realize is the wall balls. You have to make sure that ball hits the ground before
transition.
You have to stand in front of your partner, because you have some people who try to stand behind their partner.
Yep.
So they're very particular about like where you stand and like where how you transition to the movement. The lunges, we've experienced some confusion on the lunges. Before.
Yep.
So I mean, knowing those.
We knew what the rules were.
We knew what the rules were, but our judge didn't.
But the judge apparently didn't know what the rules were. So
we were the only one to get flagged.
Yeah, everybody else
wasn't true.
doing stuff that wasn't actually in the rules, but we were following the rules, and they were like, "You can't do that."
So
like,
I mean,
okay.
Hopefully you have a judge who also knows the rule book, but
they're getting better about that.
They are getting better about making sure their judges are like well trained, but also just beforehand, make sure that you and your partner review the transition rules, the burpee transitions, the lunge transitions. The machine transitions are pretty self-explanatory in my opinion. Stay on the mat.
Yeah.
Don't get off.
Yeah, they're pretty easy. So, yeah, definitely
familiarize yourself with the doubles rules. And the cool thing is, like, before every race, they have a briefing.
They do have a briefing.
It's a video. It's a literal video that tells you what to do. And obviously, it's a preset thing, but the rules don't change.
Yeah.
Right? And they actually will have your map usually on that thing a lot of times. So you can kind of be familiar with the course, what have you. So just knowing, one thing I noticed is, in Dallas, I was a head judge at the sled push, right? And it was so cool, like with the doubles, I felt like, because it was so fast.
Yeah.
Like people are coming in and they're all hyped up because it's still early in the race. So everybody's like, I'm winning this race, right? But I cannot tell you how many teams came in and the obvious faster person came in way ahead of the other person.
Yeah.
And they start trying to push the sled. And we're like, no, you can't push the sled. You got to wait for your partner. And they would get mad at us. They're like, well, I'm here. And I'm like, yeah, but the rules are you have to wait for your partner. Yeah. And the partner, like a lot of times, especially with the ladies, the one lady would start pushing and the other one would just stand there and watch them.
Yeah.
Instead of following them down the thing.
It's like you've literally didn't pay attention at all to any of the briefings or the resources provided. I've seen that and I'm confused.
Or they would be like, how many times do I go? Right? So like they had no idea like how much they're supposed to be pushing.
I'm always like, you weren't prepared at all for this, were
no,
you?
They didn't look at any of the rules. No. And so, familiarizing yourself with the course, familiarize yourself with the rules as a team or even as an individual.
Or come to the clinic and you can find out more.
Yeah, for sure. So I think those are going to be important things because those are definitely ways that you can shave time and then also keep you from being penalized.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to go out. I mean, our very first race together, remember that?
Was that in Dallas?
It was in Dallas. It was in Dallas, and it was early on. Like I think it was my second race ever.
Yeah, it was. We were still kind of new to the whole thing.
And we go out and like we raced, and we thought we ended up first, and we ended up fourth, I think, because we got penalized.
I messed this up.
Yes.
I did.
So she messed us up and she was like, we need to go in. I was like, no, we don't need to go in. We need to do another lap. And she's like yelled at me and ran in.
I was behind you too, so you couldn't stop me.
I couldn't stop her. So once she went in, it was already too late. So I went in and we did the thing and we were by ourselves the whole time. I was like, there's your signal. I didn't say anything. Then we took off and she did it again.
I did.
On the second lap.
I did.
And I was like, this dirty cracker.
So that felt offensive.
It should have been. It was meant to be offensive. And so we ended up so we came in and our time was really good.
We had a great time.
It was a really good time.
Yeah.
And with or without doing the extra laps, it was a great time.
Yeah.
Right? Even if we'd have done the right amount of laps, we'd have been we would have been the fastest team.
Yeah.
But the 2 laps cost us an additional like
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
So we went from like a 104 or something to like 114. Right? So which, I mean, that hurt a little bit, right? So, not a lot. I mean, I was like, because I was just doing it for fun anyway, but...
you let it go way better. I held on to that and, like, beat myself up for such a long time.
Yeah. So, I mean, those mistakes are going to happen, but if you know how many laps you're supposed to run, then you know what the rules are, and so that probably brings me to number 4, is know the laps you're supposed to run.
Mm-hmm. I would also, like as well.
And have somebody assign.
Team lead.
Have somebody be the team lead.
We've talked about team lead.
So the team lead, I think, is super important. And what I mean by that is like have someone that's responsible for keeping track of what laps are we on. Who's supposed to go in first. Keep track of the counts, right? What's the next station we're going to?
Yeah.
So I think that's something kind of having that team captain almost.
Yeah.
And I would say probably the person who is the most fit. Or the better runner.
I was going to say the better runner.
Right. So that's what I mean by most fit. Because they're probably not going to struggle as much because they're not running as fast. Right.
Yeah.
So because if that's the case, then it is so easy. So when I was at the sled push, this is the second thing, the sled push, right?
Is this you and me still or someone else?
No, this was on the judging that I just did, right?
Okay.
So there were a group of ladies that came in. And so like I was actually standing like at the arch because we had a downtime. So I was standing there with my phone because I was going to video some of our people because people were coming into the skier and I was watching. So I was trying to get them like some video of them running. Yeah. And then here comes a group of ladies, right? A group of ladies. They come running, like barreling down the thing. So as they come in, I'm telling them, you guys got to go all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. So this one chick comes barreling in and she turns and starts running toward the skier, right? Okay. Now she had just done the skier.
She didn't remember?
And she runs to the skier, and then she turns around and comes back and goes into the sled push.
Okay.
Right? And then she starts yelling at me. She's like, why didn't you tell me to come in here? What is wrong with you? And I'm like, well, number one, I don't know what number you're on.
It's not your responsibility.
That's not my job. My job is to make sure you're doing the sled push correct. How am I supposed to know what number you're on?
That's so funny.
Yeah, she was pissed at me.
Some people get so entitled, and that's crazy to me. Like, no one here is your babysitter.
Yeah, I'm like,
We're
you
all
see
tired.
you see the big number 2 on the top of this thing? Did you not know what number 2 meant
Yeah.
when you did number 1 just a minute ago?
And they were literally like almost at the
It
beginning.
goes 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yeah, and so you got to like that.
So
like,
she was running toward the thing she'd already done. That was the opposite direction, right? And the 2 was like literally right in the entrance. So at first it like kind of caught me off guard because I was like, huh? What? And I felt bad because I was like, I don't know. Why didn't I tell her to go in? I was like, how am I supposed to know that? I don't know. You know, so
How could you not remember her, James?
exactly right. So it's important to like have somebody because race brain is real.
So real.
As you start getting fatigued, literally the harder you work, right? Your heart is pumping blood and oxygen to all your muscles to help you function properly. Well, one of the first things it does is it diverts blood flow, which means it diverts oxygen to non-essential organs. So one of the non-essential organs is your intestinal tract.
Yeah.
So that means that you're not able to process food as efficiently, right? Which is why you take gels and like powders and stuff because they go through your system quicker.
Yeah.
They're easier to digest. Well, another thing that gets diverted is your brain doesn't get as much blood and oxygen. So you're not thinking as clearly.
Nope.
Right? So you get race brain. Yeah. And so it's easy to like, what number am I on?
Yeah.
What lap am I on?
Yeah.
What number do I go to? Right? And so
It happens all the time.
It does.
It happens to some of the best racers.
it does. And when you do that, you lose a lot of time.
Ton of time.
You lose. And now it's possible to
you're
get
flustered.
disqualified.
Yeah.
So like if you do your events out of order, right? That's a huge like penalty. I think it's like 5 to 8 minutes or something like that. If you're supposed to do the sled push and you do the sled pull first, right? You did them out of order. That's like an automatic like penalty. If you skip something completely, that's a DQ.
Yeah. I think the out of order happened in championships. I think I remember it happening to a couple girls at doubles.
Really?
In the doubles in the championships. Because I think I remember like seeing these two girls and because they were kind of like right behind someone else and like they ended up going in one and then I saw them like one further down. Like a few minutes later I was like, I think they got confused.
Yeah. And I mean, it can happen.
It happens,
right?
And that's why it's good to have a team captain.
Have someone who's in charge and probably the most confident
Yes.
of the two.
And unfortunately, if neither one of you is a strong runner and neither one of you is very confident, well, then you might have a great time out there.
Yeah, you might be out there.
It might be a while.
All night long. So, but yeah, I would definitely say organizing somebody so that you can be familiar with, with what you're going to do, right? And, that would be simply they release the course, usually the week of the race. And so even though it's pretty much the same, it's the same things, you're going to run, you're going to do those 8 stations. You don't always know how many laps.
Yep.
You also don't know, is your first lap going to be less than the other 7 laps or vice versa. And then you don't know the order where everything's going to be, right? So sometimes, we've had ones before where like 1 was over here, 2 was over here, 4 was over there. It was almost like a puzzle, right? And lately it seems like they've been trying to do them in order as much as possible. But either way, you need to be familiar and know, okay, where are these at? And if you don't, for some reason, get to see the map, showing up early and going in there and taking a look will really help.
For sure.
Right.
So, yeah, having a team lead, I think, has been a huge one. I have not been the team lead, and that's fine by me. It's okay. But I've gotten better. Like, I got from where I was, like, really relying on my team lead to, like, guide me because I got massive race brain to where I'm, like, even though they're kind of guiding, I can still kind of, like, communicate confidently on, like, what the next thing is.
Okay.
So it's been something I've done as I've grown. If you have another one, that's great, but I would like to add one if I could.
Sure.
I think this is number 5 now. Communication and trusting your partner.
Okay.
I think it's really important to find a partner. If you can, find a partner that you work really well with. You trust them. Because if you go in with somebody that you don't work well with or you don't trust, you're just trying to like get a time, you might butt heads. You might like disagree on things. They might like try to take more than you can handle. You have to be able to trust that you can tell your partner. And this is something I've had to personally work on. Because there are certain things that my partners have always, handled the load better than me in terms of having aerobic capacity. So I have to be able to say, I need a break. And I have to trust my partner's not going to hold that against me. And they're going to be able to, work with me on that. So I think having communication is so big when you're doing doubles. You have to communicate. If you're suffering, if your partner's going too fast, you got to tell them. You can't just let them keep dragging you.
Right.
You got to tell them that you need to slow down a little bit. If you need them to take a little more on the lunges or the burpees, you got to tell them. Don't suffer through it because it makes you slower in the end.
Right.
Gasses you out. And you've got to trust that like this person's not going to make you feel like bad or like drag you through the mud.
I'll be honest with you. If that's even an option on the table, I'm not racing with that person.
Well, you would think.
Personally, if the thought that this person might make me feel bad because I made a mistake or something like that, I ain't racing with them.
Yeah.
So that's probably not someone that's very much of a very good friend, I guess, right?
But I feel like we know some people who've caught up with partners that they don't realize until maybe like race day that this person's not exactly helping them be their best self.
Yeah. I mean, I think sometimes maybe you get a little too competitive or whatever, right? And you get competition brain, I guess, maybe. But but I think like the whole point of like doing a team, right, being a partnership is to lift each other up.
Sure.
To make each other better.
I agree.
Right. And so, perfect example, Tommy and I, our very first season we raced, we did 2 races.
Okay.
The first one, we had 0 expectation of what to do, but we still went into it thinking the same thing. Let's figure out what our transitions are going to be. We tried to be as prepared as possible, but we hadn't touched a rower or a skier, right? And, we had touched a sled, but like it wasn't nearly as heavy. We didn't put as much time on it, right? We did wall balls, but we didn't, we weren't like great wall ballers or anything like that. So, when we went into it, we were still like, we don't know how great we are, right? Yeah. Or how sucky we're going to be either. And when we took off, we just stuck to our plan. We kept our pace. We went through our whatever, and we ended up winning the race. And then like we got a thing that says you qualify for the World Championships, and we're like, whatever, okay. And then we raced again. And I don't remember where it was we raced. It might have been Dallas again. It might have because they did 2 that year, right? And, this time we had an idea, and now we had like a goal to go for, right? We wanted to be sub an hour or something like that.
And it had been like, 5 months or something?
So we had more experience. We were a little more confident. And it was a completely different race.
Yeah.
We were much faster, and we were much more confident in what we were doing. We still stuck to our race plan. We were racing to qualify for the World Championships because we're like, we should go.
Yeah.
We want to go. This would be kind of cool. And it was going to be in Vegas, so it was here. So it was easy to get to for the most part. And so we had a goal in mind, and we ended up winning the race, so we qualified. And so we went to the World Championships, and the whole time we were looking at the times.
Yeah.
And we were like, holy crap. If we could just be a little bit faster, we could be the world champions.
Yeah.
Right? So we went into that race 100% thinking we're going for the World Championship. Yep. And so throughout the entire race, we were sticking to our plan. It was fast. Everybody was fast. Everybody was running and gunning. And we got to the farmer carries, I think it was, and it was like 4 teams together, right? First through fourth. We were all like right on top of each other, and we were catching people, right? And we knew every time we ran, we were catching them.
Yep.
And we got to the farmer carries. And like we got there, and Tommy didn't think, he didn't do anything. He just grabbed farmer carries and took off running.
Yeah, I remember.
And I got some
he was
chalk.
Like sprinting.
He was, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And I had to take off and run with him. And then when I caught him, we made the turn. He set the weights down, and I picked him up. And when I picked him up, I was like, "These are not very heavy." And I saw they were the ladies' weights. Oh, no. I was like, "Crap!"
I forgot about that.
Right. So the moment I mentioned that to him, he was so upset with himself. Right. That. And so, but I wasn't mad at him, right? It's just we were moving, we were grooving. It was an accident. It was something that happened, right? So we ended up 4th by like a few seconds, right? But we still had a chance because when we got in there, they were no repping people left and right, right? That included us. So, but like those things happen. So you don't give up. You just keep going, right? So, it's a funny thing. We kind of joke around with each other before, right? You and I, right? The last time we raced together, right? You were all stressed out and you were worried and you were yelling at me.
Me?
Yes.
I don't remember yelling at you.
You were, because it was time for us to go in, and you were yelling at me for us to go in.
Oh yeah, I forgot what you were doing.
I was just running, and I was about to go in, and you're like, "It's time to go in! It's time to go in!"
I was really panicked.
And she was panicking, so I was like, "Nope, we got to run one more."
Oh, you mean when we started the race?
Yes, in the very beginning.
And then you said you made us run one more.
Yeah, even though I knew it was time to go in.
Even though it was time to go in, you were like, no, I'm going to make this chick run until she's tired to talk.
I was like, I'm just going to have her relax a little bit, get into it. So now that we don't have to worry about being in the front, we came into the skier last.
We did.
Right?
We were the last
and we
one
didn't
in.
come out last, though.
We did not come out last.
We didn't come out last.
No.
But the point is, we went in last. I was like, okay, she'll realize we're out of this race, and she'll chill the crud out. We took off, and what did you do on the second lap?
We got to go in.
You yelled again, it's time to go in! It's time to go in! I was like, I guess you hadn't learned the lesson yet. Let's go one more time.
You know how cruel that was? Because I thought I was going crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I that bad?
But the first instructions, before we even started the race, I gave you
just
were
lean on
just
you.
relax and just let me try to keep the pace. Just let me lead the way.
Let you lead.
Just follow and it'll be okay. And then the very first thing we do, you're like, rabba dabba dabba dabba. So hindsight, I should have just gone in and just been like, hey, calm down, dude. We'll be okay, right? Because it might have changed your experience of the race, but.
I had some major trauma after
She was not after that. She's like, it was all those extra laps you made me run, James. I was like, dude, you ran literally an extra 0.3 of a mile.
Yeah.
3 laps was a 1K. You ran 2 extra laps.
Yeah.
If that blew your race up, then you were not prepared
I was
properly.
not prepared for that race.
Right. So, but it was very mean, and I shouldn't have done that. But
it was a big learning experience for me.
And for me too. Right.
Yeah.
So, but that's the point is that I made us run extra laps. So we all make mistakes.
We all make mistakes.
We all make mistakes, right? So the first time I did it on purpose, the second time was an accident.
Okay.
So
I believe you.
We make mistakes.
We all make mistakes.
Right? So I think you're right. I think learning how to communicate is important. You know, not holding things against each other is important,
I mean, it doesn't
right?
do any good because you're both doing it together. So
Right.
it doesn't benefit y'all.
And you're not going to perform any better
No.
if you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you tell me one person that's never done something and not messed up. Not made some kind of
Can't think
mistake.
of a single person.
Right? So, holding something against your partner, right? So if you have that kind of partner, you should get a different partner.
You should definitely get a different partner.
Right? So on that point, that's what I'm saying is yes, you should be confident that you can communicate to each other and expect that one of you at some point in time is going to hurt more than the other. Mm-hmm. And the prayer is that you do it at 2 different times. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So what you want is for you to be hurting on the burpees when I feel good.
Yes.
And I want you to be feeling good on the lunges while I'm not feeling good.
You don't want to feel hurt at the same time.
You don't,
That's
right?
not ideal.
Ultimately, you want to feel good the whole race, but it's probably not going to happen.
You might both be hurting on the wall balls, but by then you're both just so jazzed up to finish. You're hopefully just going to suck it up and get through it.
Exactly. So the adrenaline can help you through it. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. Practice that in your training too. Practice talking to each other. Hey, we're too fast.
We need to slow down.
All right, we need to slow down. Or, all right, you're going to go in first. All right, I'm going to go second, right? Remember, you're supposed to do 5 burpees, and I'm going to do 5, right? Or whatever the number is, right? So communicating that. And honestly, I think that really helps you in your race as far as keeping you on point.
Yeah.
It helps remind you what the goals are, keep you moving forward in that kind of consistent rhythm over and over and over again.
Yeah. No, I think if you want to just go in and have a good time and you're just hoping to survive it, great. If you want to go in and be competitive, then definitely going in with your partner and a plan is the way to go. Don't just wing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also funny. I have a lot of people when they get into mixed doubles, I'm doing it with my significant other. I'm like, that can either go one of 2 ways. It's going to go great, or y'all are going to try to kill each other.
Yeah. My wife and I haven't ever raced together.
I know that.
And
shocks
yet
me.
still somehow she's mad at me about our race together. Isn't that weird? That is so weird.
You kind of betrayed her a little bit.
I did not betray her. See, that's what I don't understand.
I'm messing with you.
Is my wife and I, so I started racing in 2021 or
You've been
22.
trying to get her to race with you for a while.
And since we first started,
defense.
I've been trying to get her to be my partner.
You have. In
right?
your defense,
and
you
she has rejected me.
She has.
Over and over and over again.
This is true.
And so this past season, I said, again, it's like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we race together? And I was so surprised. She's like, yes. I was like, really? And I was like, let's do Anaheim. She said, okay, let's do Anaheim. So I signed us up for Dallas. I signed up for a couple races, and I didn't sign up for Anaheim. And I don't know why I didn't. I thought I did, but I didn't. And a couple weeks went by, and she was like, hey, did you sign us up? And I was like, yeah, I think so. She's like, well, I haven't gotten an email or anything. I was like, oh, I don't know. Well, let me check and make sure I did. So I went and looked, and I hadn't signed us up.
Oh.
So I went to sign us up. So Anaheim was in October or something,
Yeah,
right?
something like that.
And this was in
August?
April or May.
Oh, this was that far back.
Yes. Or it was right after we got back from the World Championships. So it was in June.
June, okay.
Okay.
Still.
So they had just released it, right? And so it wasn't even July yet.
Yeah.
And so I went back to sign us up and it was sold out.
Got to sign up for those races real fast.
And I was like, crap. So I told her, I was like, hey, it's sold out. I was like, how about we do Toronto together? We're supposed to go to Disney anyway right afterwards. And she's like, no. That was her answer. And I think it was because it was too close, because I think it was in September or something, right? And Anaheim was in December, I think, right? That's what it was. Anaheim was in December. And so it was too close. And I was like, well, what if we do Dallas together? She's like, no, because it was too close. Right. So I was like, 1 month difference, dude. It's 1 month's difference.
Well, because I know in the past she was always saying she was worried about racing with you because she thought you were going to be too hard on her. I don't know. It's your wife.
We've been married for 20 years, for crying out loud.
Wife, I don't know.
What in the Sam Hill? No. Why are you looking at me like that?
Well, you would definitely hold her very accountable to the training, and Leah doesn't like be told what to do.
She doesn't like being told what to do.
That's probably what she was trying to avoid.
That's her thing. Is she's worried that she's going to let me down. And I'm like, dude, I raced with Lauren twice and I didn't yell at her. I didn't beat her up. I wasn't mean to her. Right. So if I was going to be mean to anybody that was racing, it would not be my wife. The woman who I sleep with that could kill me in my sleep.
This is true.
I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be her. It would be
Kingpin
you
Leah.
before it would be her.
Kingpin Leah.
Right. So I'm fairly certain I would be very nice to my wife and supportive. But then I signed up with somebody else for Houston.
Yeah, that was like basically writing your own.
That was like
signing the coffin.
It's like I asked her for a divorce.
You were asking for a divorce.
It's like ridiculous. I'm like, what? I was so taken back when she and here's the part of the problem is there were other people that were egging it on. They were like, oh, he betrayed you. Oh, you have a worst husband ever. I'm like, you fools need to shut the crud up.
We have a really weird family dynamic here at the gym where as soon as there's any smell, any whiff of drama, someone's trying to stir that pot.
I don't believe not drama. It's like when it's a funny kind of
just when it's enough to really make it.
Yes, there awkward. Is. Yes, we are a group of instigators. This
we
is true.
Instigate each other.
Instigate. So
we're all way too up in.
But I was like, let's do Vegas. No. Let's do Atlanta. No. Let's do
Vegas would have been a great one for y'all to do because
Why?
Because it's far enough away from Houston that it wouldn't really probably mess with anything.
No, I agree. It would have been a good one. Either that one or Atlanta would have been good too because it was far from Houston and was further away. And her answer, no. When I hear no, that means no. That's not like a maybe. That's a no way in hell. So maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Maybe we'll mend our marriage by next year by racing together.
There you go.
Right? So or actually, here's the funniest part. She decided to run it with someone else in Houston to show me.
Oh, no.
To just show me. She's like, all right, fine, I'll run with so and so and such and such.
And you were like, be my guest.
And I was like, okay, I'm fine. It doesn't bother me. And then they bailed on her.
And then that person bailed on her.
Yeah. So so now I don't think she has anybody.
I know.
So I don't know what she's gonna. I don't know if she's gonna run it or not. So I think she had signed up as a mixed doubles.
Oh, she already paid for it and everything?
I think so.
So we need to find her partner.
So I don't know. I don't know what she's going to do. So we'll see. I got to talk to her about it again. I thought we had talked about it, but I forgot.
I didn't realize she'd signed up for the mixed doubles.
Yeah, I think so. So I could be wrong. But I thought she did.
Well, then, we need to find her a replacement.
Yeah, but I think there's still some openings. There's still some mixed doubles openings. I think there's some ladies pro is
there's
available.
Some women's pro
but I don't think there's any ladies doubles yet.
No,
available.
There's no ladies doubles.
So I think there's just mixed and then men's doubles and then ladies
pros.
Pro and men's pro. I think that's all the relays are gone.
It's not pro doubles, it's pro open.
For what?
The women. It's not pro doubles, it's just pro open. I'm almost positive all the pro doubles are filled up because it's an elite 15 qualifier. So a lot of people are
I thought it was the other way around. I thought there weren't any ladies opens left. I thought there was only pros left.
I don't think I saw any when I was looking recently. I think the only ones I saw that were still open were the men's. I could be very wrong, but I think I just saw men's doubles, men's pro, and women's pro solo. I got it right here. Is that what you're looking for your phone?
I was. I don't know what I did with it. Maybe I didn't bring it up.
I can look it up. I could be so wrong, but I think I just had to answer this question for somebody.
I don't know. I thought I was looking at it, but I could be wrong. I thought I saw, but I knew there was a few spots, and that's what's crazy is Houston is not till March 15th and 16th, right?
It's 6 weeks.
So we're still in December, right? So 3 or 4 months beforehand, it was almost all sold out. I looked at the relays.
They're all like that now.
I looked at the relays back in November, and all the relays were sold out, but the men's doubles. Because I was going to like, hey, let's do a mixed relay team. So we're doing a men's doubles team, our men's relay team. But either way, that was the only thing that was available. And that was back in November. So these things are selling out so fast.
Yeah, you're right. So the pro women is shut down, but the pro women's doubles, you're correct, is open, as is the pro doubles men. And then the men's doubles and the adaptive men's is open.
Yeah. So I think I just looked at it the other day. So that's why I thought.
Still a couple, it looks like there might still be some doubles mix available for people.
Yeah, I think there were mixed doubles still when I saw it. So, but I think all the women's doubles were gone. And and that doesn't tell you either, like how many are left. So it could be just one spot. It could be two spots, right? So not very many. So, but
if you are looking at it, you might want to get it, people.
Yeah. If you've been thinking about racing, if you're Houston is definitely the one you want to try to do, then I would say today is the day.
Yeah, don't wait.
Don't wait anymore. Just go ahead and sign up, and because it's definitely going to sell out, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely going to sell out. So I don't think HYROX is going to be one of those things where, New York sold out in like 2 days or something crazy like that.
Something insane, and it's a 3-day event.
Yeah, so they're going to have probably 15,000 people there.
So many people.
So it's a 3-day, like it's basically the way they do the championships. Is
When
how
I
they're
hear
doing
those
it.
numbers, it almost overwhelms me about
Why?
the event. But I don't know, just because like going to championships was so cool, but I was so like drained
Yeah.
at the end of championships, like just because it was so much stimulation.
Yeah. Well, this year wasn't as bad as like Manchester was for me.
Manchester was really tight.
Yeah, Manchester was like, because it was like all compressed and there was so much going on and so many people, and the intensity
The dividing up the days the way they did
made it more helpful.
so much better.
Yeah, and it did feel a little more open, right? And they had the
move better.
bleachers and stuff, right?
bleachers
So,
were great.
so I mean, yeah, I agree. It was still very intense. It was still like a lot going on, and there were tons of people.
So many people.
But it wasn't as crazy as Manchester was.
I agree. Manchester
So,
was just like it was literally like cattle
it was
in a cattle pen.
Yeah, it was so tight. It was nuts. It was so crazy. It was like the craziest experience I think I've ever had. Seriously, especially in an event.
Really great venue though.
Yeah, it was a neat place. It was a really
Really
neat
cool
place.
venue.
I liked the Nice place too. I thought that was the best
The
place
Nice
we've ever
venue
done.
looked really cool too. Yeah, I mean again, the layout's still my favorite layout.
Yeah, it's the best setup they've ever had in any event I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfect. So
Replicate that every time.
yeah, if you could, that
Please.
would be amazing. That would be so good. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that I think doubles is so popular because it is so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And sometimes I wonder though, because like there's guys who are like, or ladies even I've talked to, and like, oh, you ever tried doubles? They're like, oh no, I race singles, right?
Yeah,
and they're like,
I've actually met people like that too.
or they'll even sign up for both doubles and singles. Like, oh, doubles isn't a big deal, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like singles is really like, because it's you, and some people are like, well, I don't want to depend on somebody else.
That's the big thing I've heard is I like being my own. I like just relying on myself.
Yeah, and to me, I'm like, okay, where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
So, but they're two different races.
They're like lone wolf people.
They're two different races. The individual race, the singles, is a grind where you're pushing yourself. It's definitely endurance based. It's definitely a mental struggle. Whereas the doubles is fast, go, 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 go.
Yeah.
Give max effort, and work together as a team.
I mean, you're definitely
the energy is even different.
The energy is very different, but you're not going to be. You're definitely not going to get as fast a time as a solo as you would a single. So you're definitely not moving as fast because you literally have to do the whole load alone.
Right.
So I like doubles for that reason. Like you get to really push yourself in a different way. You get to do it with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, especially to me, like the finish line feeling is like so great because especially at the wall balls, you're literally like looking at your partner, you're watching them grind away, like you're cheering each other on, and then you like run for that finish line together. And
Well, you
to
have
me,
a
that's,
better
like, such
feel too
cool-
with the other people that you're racing with, like because you're doubles, right? And you see them in the starting blocks with you and stuff.
You kind of look around.
So you have a better feel for like, hey, we're racing together.
Yeah.
And like you can definitely have that feel at the end too. I don't know. It just seems more. There's more energy. There's more hype around it. It's more. I don't know. It just seems more fun.
Yeah.
Whereas like the singles event, it's fun. I'm not saying it's not, and I'm not saying there's not like energy with it, and you can't race because you definitely can, right? But the pace is just different. It's just a different pace event.
Solo grind is a very different thing.
It is.
It's such a different thing. Like you were so in your head the whole time.
But I've raced doubles and singles, and there have been double races where I was more exhausted afterwards than I was the singles.
Yeah,
Because of the intensity we were racing at, right?
that's true.
So, and that was not half the load because you still have to do all the same running, right? But like it just felt different. Now, does that mean maybe I should have ran faster on my singles? I guess maybe, I don't know. But I just felt like we ran faster. We obviously went through the stations faster, the wall balls, it's just like even though you're braking, the breaks are short.
Breaks
right?
are short.
And the efforts are more intense, right? So it's, I don't know, it's just like watching it is more fun too. Because the pace is faster, I feel like.
It's fun to watch people. It's fun. I think it's fun to kind of watch how teams work together.
Yeah.
I think that's always good. I like watching the singles. I mean, not the singles, the doubles a lot. I love racing the doubles. I mean, I'd race only doubles forever if I could.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like kind of like the relay too, right? The relay is
fun 'cause
it's
it's
really
fast.
fun, right? Because it's fast
It's a
and
sprint.
it's constantly moving, right? And you've got different elements, so it's a cool event. I mean, obviously the intensity is not the same as far as like the load, right? Because you're only
No.
doing two things.
But you can go so much faster. And also with your team, you can hopefully all divide into your strongest events.
Right.
So you really get to shine on something that you just, excel at.
Right. No, for sure. So I think that's what's cool. And so I guess that's what's cool about HYROX. There's something for everybody.
There's something for everybody. Well, hopefully these tips and tricks were helpful. Hopefully, like, y'all can kind of, take this, let it stew in that brain and kind of put some of it into practice with your upcoming race, whether it's Houston or Miami or Atlanta or whatever you got coming up.
Yeah. And if you want to get, like I said, more hands-on experience, we're going to talk about some of this stuff. And there's a lot of other things we're going to talk about too as well tomorrow at the HYROX Doubles Clinic here at BC Fitness. And so there's still a couple spots left. I don't think there's very many openings left, but there's still a couple. So if you go to mybcfit.com, you can check out the event. You can also go to the event page, not the event page, but the Instagram.
You can go to Instagram and find the information.
You can go to our, what's it called, link tree.
You can go to our link tree. Go into our bio. There'll be our link tree up there, and just click on that, and it'll pop up.
It'll come right up. So, so you can still sign up for that if you want to. And if you have your questions, we'll answer as many of those questions as possible. We're gonna definitely give you some hands-on stuff so we can kind of work on that and hopefully get you some not last minute, but some good gains before your race.
And what I will say about the clinic, which I think is going to be really beneficial, is you're going to be learning from BC Fit coaches who have all not only just done HYROX, but a lot of the coaches who are teaching the clinic have done doubles and have gone to championships with doubles. So like we're using tried and true methods, and like we're going to tell you what's really worked well for us. And so you're learning from people who know firsthand.
Exactly. So guys, thanks for coming in today. We really appreciate it. As always, if you can, you have the ability to do so. You can support the show by becoming a Patreon by going to patreon.com/runningwithjames. Also check out our YouTube channel, Running with James. We're doing shoe reviews. Got a bunch of them coming up. And we also obviously will do training tips. So we have an actual entire HYROX series that you can check out as you're getting ready for Houston. And we go through each and every one of the elements of the race to give you some kind of tips and tricks on more efficiency, how to train for it, all that good stuff. So we appreciate it when you guys come in, and we thank you for all the support that you give us. And please pray for Lauren, that she has to deal with me all the time. I'm trying not, I want to say, I'm not going to say it. Just pray for Lauren.
Pray for me.
She needs your help. She needs your help. Lord, help James not be so mean to Lauren all the time.
I would just
make him a bird, fly far, far away.
Pray that Lauren just wakes up one day and doesn't feel like so stressed.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like a stress possum.
Yeah, this chick comes in.
I come in stressed.
Whenever she walks in the building, I just get a big smile on my face and just giggle to myself because she walks in.
My heart rate's elevated before the day technically
and she's all like
starts.
shuffling in, like all disheveled and stuff. And I'm like,
5 bags.
I'm like, you literally just walked in the door. How can it's like
I'm really huffy in the morning.
It's 9:15 in the morning. How can you be so stressed?
I've got like one backpack on. I got a lunch kit. I got another bag with extra clothes. My hair, my bun is like to the side. I look like I've been through a hurricane.
And her keys are jingling.
My keys are jingling.
I was like, this freaking
and I
chick.
might not have one of my shoes on.
That's actually very, all that is accurate.
Super accurate. That is a daily.
And I think to myself, I'm like, how can anybody be so like
every day?
Every day. I mean, I get it. Things happen. Life happens. Struggles happen. So sometimes there are days when I walk in and I feel a little keyed up. You know?
Keep it like really in though. You always have this.
Mornings, I'm not, I want to say I'm not a morning person, but in the morning, I like to be quiet.
You are quiet in the morning.
I like to just come in, get my thing done. And then usually around 10:30, 11, I start to feel more like open and like, not open, but like, what's the word? Like more talkative.
You're a little more social butterfly.
There you go. And as the day goes on, I get more social. And I'm definitely like, when the night comes, that's when I really like to fly.
I feel like I'm a little bit of the opposite. Well, no, in the morning I'm a little quiet, and then like I kind of get.
There's
real
nothing
strong
quiet
in the
about you in
day.
the morning.
I mean, I'm really huffy, and then the evening I'm like starting to die down a little bit.
Nah. Okay, dude. What world are you living
I don't
in?
know.
I need to video you and make some edits for you to see and see if like your evening Lauren is different than morning Lauren.
Oh no.
Which is different than like afternoon Lauren. It's always caffeinated Lauren, so that's why it's always the same.
I mean, it depends on when I've had caffeine, but I feel like I'm having caffeine a lot. I'm trying really hard to like get better though. I'm trying to quit, people.
Every time I see you, you have something caffeinated in your hand.
No, it's not always caffeinated. Sometimes I have been switching to non-caffeinated herbal tea in the afternoon.
Okay.
So that mug is full of maca ashwagandha tea.
Okay. See, I knew it was tea, but I didn't know it was non-caffeinated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm making a change.
Okay. I like it. That's good. So maybe we'll start seeing like
Less jittery Lauren.
Woosah Lauren.
Yeah, maybe it won't be tweak anymore. It'll be husa.
Yeah. I'm not calling you tweak.
No one's called me tweak in a while.
No, I'm not going to call you that. I don't think it's helpful. So, but you are usually tweaking when I see you in the morning.
Actually, I don't know if you've noticed, but several times in this conversation, my eyes twitched.
Mine twitches sometimes.
Does it? Okay, so it's not just me.
Yeah, mine twitches too. But usually it's when I'm upset.
I think mine just twitches
And it's like
when I'm stressed.
I'm about to lose it. I'm about to freaking slap somebody.
No, mine just does it randomly. I don't know if it's like an anxiety issue or if it's just a muscle spasm. Another thing I've started trying to do is more cold plunges.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to take advantage of the cold weather and the fact that there's a pool and I jump in the pool and I'm like, this is going to help calm me down. And I don't know if it does that. I think it just freaks me out even more.
I don't know if that's actually scientifically true.
I don't know.
I don't know if like cold,
Well, it's supposed to,
excruciatingly
help your body,
cold water is going
to. I think
it's a stressor.
It's a stressor, but it's like helping your body adapt to the external stressors.
Okay. But it's not your body that needs to adapt. It's your brain and your emotions.
I'm trying to like tell myself this isn't gonna kill me. Calm down.
Okay. I like it. I'm not trying I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just listening and like just trying to understand the thought process.
It's a lot of trial and error right now.
Okay.
A lot of trial and error, people.
Hey, you're trialing.
I'm trialing.
You're trialing,
I'm
right?
making a lot of errors, but
so
I'm trialing.
you can't succeed if you don't try.
This is true.
Right? So that's good. Proud of you.
Figure it out.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
Keeping it up.
Doing a good job.
All right. Well, tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
Ready?
We're going to end it how we started it. It's a day, guys.
It's a day.
It's a day.
Tomorrow's another one.
Tomorrow's another one. And hopefully we'll see you guys at the doubles,
Yes.
HYROX doubles clinic. And if we don't, maybe we'll see you at the HYROX here in just a few weeks. So it's going to be a good
Run
time.
Club.
Or Run Club. Yeah. You're more than welcome to come. So every Sunday, 4 p.m. on Memorial Stadium. So.
Klein High School.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming in. We appreciate you. Remember, if you change your mind,
You can change your life.
peace.
Bye.
Change your mind, change your life.